Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of Professionals Unplugged. I'm your host, Utkarsh Shukla, and today we have Tamara with us. Tamara, thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
So, let's start with our very basic question. Can you please introduce yourself to our audience, like who you are, what work you do, anything you want us to know about you?
Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Tamara. I have been working in marketing, in tech marketing for almost 10 years. Originally from Ukraine and currently based in Prague. I've been a bit of traveler or globe explorer because I've been living also in the Netherlands and in Belgium. I think that's it. I like a lot to talk about tech and marketing and the products and the current marketing and market situation. So that's I believe that now it's way more difficult to market the product than to create one.
Right. And you talked about tech marketing, right? We are living in an era where we are listening a lot about digital marketing, right? Or digital marketer. But this term tech marketer, how do you define this and how is it different from a digital marketer? Or are both of them same?
It depends. I think in marketing there are so many different buzzwords. I have a colleague of mine, she's working in a marketing agency in London, and we were talking a lot about what is the difference between marketing strategy and go to market because all the elements are the same. So what I mean with the direct marketing or it means that I'm focused more on like SaaS products, so like tech products, and like marketing tech products is different, and then digital marketing is one of the pillars, I would say, that like you use in order to market the product on the like SaaS product.
Correct. And digging more into the tech marketing, right? So how does this role evolve? So like, do you guys need to sit with engineers, understand the concept or why the product is built? Or is it like you connect with the product managers? So what's the main
Yeah,
thought?
yeah. So I think like again, personally, I think if you work as like marketing in tech or marketeer in tech, then it's very fundamental for you to understand the product, how it works, what the value is, what pain points it solves for the specific segment, because otherwise you cannot position that well, you cannot develop right messaging, you cannot develop the right channel mix. So therefore, very important for a marketing team to work closely with the product owners and product managers who are responsible for the like roadmap. And I think what I like also the most is product launches, because this is gives you the like the opportunity to celebrate the product. I think it's like mini parties, like mini birthday parties that you have, and then you celebrate that, and then you have this organic way to communicate to their target audience and segment. And that's also, when looking from operational point of view, this is where it's very crucial for marketing and product teams to collaborate very closely. I think in at every stage it's important, but when it comes to launching a new feature, like it's even crucial, because again, there are so many I've been working with different companies, established and startups, and every company, or they have their own approach to celebrating their product. And so, for example, I have experience when it just were like, like product extension, sort of like we add a new feature. And I have experience when, like that really rebuilding a product, in a sense you are moving to a new category, so you reposition. That huge shift. So it takes so much collaboration between different teams to position that well. So this is what I said, like in marketing tech products, you definitely will be working currently cross-functionally with the different teams, and with product team is, yeah, the most.
Right. And not talking about your journey. So, can you just tell us the story from how you started in Ukraine and then moved to the different parts of the world? So, like, what was the reason of move and how's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
journey been so far?
Yeah, I think it's interesting journey from a different perspective, and I have some learning moments for myself. So as I said, like I was, I think, explorer in my nature. So when I was studying I got my first education in Ukraine. And then I moved to the Netherlands and then to Belgium, and I've been to the States and then traveled in Europe. And then I was back in Ukraine. And then I, like in my career, was working with different companies and joined one Czech startups. And then the war started. So I moved to Czech Republic because, first of all, I've never lived here. I was curious about the country and the city. And of course, my colleagues were here. So for me, it was like, yeah, on the one hand, exciting shift. But later on, I realized, like some, yeah, fake truth that I was telling myself. Because in a sense, in the first year, you're super excited, new country, new culture. And later on, I figure out there are different categories. There is an expat and there is a refugee. And then I realized that I still fall in the second category because for me, the move was not planned, so to speak. I came to a Czech Republic with a small suitcase and with my diplomas and my passport. So I had to figure out everything by myself in a country. While when you have these, like when you are expert and you have planned transition. So like you have onboarding teams. They onboard you not only in the company but also in the country, in the um, culture. You have like cultural mix events. So I did it as well, but I figured out everything by myself. So for me, it was very interesting journey. And personally, for myself, I've learned, like how important it is to build up resilience and adaptability. And I think these two virtues, I would say, are also applicable in business, especially when it comes to startups. You have to be resilient and you have to be adaptable. Otherwise, like without these characteristics, you won't succeed.
Correct. And you have mentioned about how difficult it was for you to move to a new country and settle there permanently, right? So, do you still feel like it's like in the role of a tech product marketer, right? Is it necessary to move around the world, or it's like something at this point of your life you want to stay at one place and work from there? So, how what's your perspective right now with the life?
I think you are asking a rather philosophical question, I would say. Again, what I've noticed based on my personal experience and my personal journey, people have a stability. They progress faster. So, like the same, more or less the same location. You then grow and expand steadily and consistently. When you move to a different country, you have to start everything anew. Even when I was like in the States, like again, a new environment, new people, you make new friends. Was when I was in the Netherlands, it's the same. And new people, you build up a new circle of friends, and then you learn the culture, the company, the ecosystem. And every time it's the same. So every starts afresh, like from zero. So you, for example, if it would be a game, you like, oh yeah, I'm in the Netherlands, I'm earning points. So like I earned 10. And then you go to Belgium and you're just like, oh, you lost all the points because they are not transmissible. You do have skills. So for example, you learn some skills on how to make friends faster, or like what, so it helps you a lot, but every time you start from zero. So for example, I like Prague a lot from all the cities and countries that I lived in. Therefore, like I would like to, like stay here longer in order to progress and grow professionally, but also like personally, because I think this is what creates depth in a relationship, whether it's business or personal. And I had that conversation with a friend of mine. She's originally from Spain, and that's what she's like was talking about, like how it's cool and convenient, how it's nice. I mean, when you know your neighborhood, you know your neighbors, you go to the same bakery, you have your favorite, like bread, and then you talk to the people in this bakery, they know you, and that's that connection. I think connection and relationship are gonna be the core. I mean, it have been a core, I think, in the personal level, but even now with all this artificial intelligence and nobody really knows, or is it real video or is it like a fake person? I think connection and relationship is gonna be one of the most important elements also for the business to succeed.
Tamara, as you mentioned the use of AI, so how do you see AI getting used in the field of marketing, and how do you see it?
Okay. It's a very now hot topic to talk about, and I believe like AI won't substitute people. I think some companies on a global scale, when I read the news, I think they take sometimes a wrong approach. So instead of teaching people or employees how to use and leverage AI, they just let people go, which I think is a wrong approach. So what I do on a simple day-to-day basis, I have my ChatGPT with different assistants built for different tasks. Um, what I would advise, for example, it's easy to write down all the tasks that you do and see where you need assistance. So, for example, if you work a lot with the content, you can do that. Assistant describe the task that you do so that the ChatGPT knows, and then you can use that for these purposes. There are a lot of, like now you don't really, it's still better to work with the designer. So when I work on my personal projects, I just use these AI-powered designing tools. Um, but then when I work with the projects and companies, of course, they have designers and we do all the graphics with the person. Um, so for different activities, I have a different assistant. So it usually, you do the research summary of the task, collecting the data, analyzing the data. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, that's the mainly what I use on a daily basis. When it comes again to a more complex processes, you use different integrations that can help you, like now you can even with the ChatGPT, you don't need to write, you can, like connect your Google Drive with the system, and then it gathers the data from here. So it's on a personal level, what I said, like I use it daily as my mini assistants, and it's helpful. It just speeds up the process, but it can develop the strategy. It doesn't really have that complex understanding of the context. It does provide you with the facts and what you do with the facts. This is what I said, like creativity of a humankind interfere. And this is where that's why no AI will replace a human person.
And talking about your journey till now, you have mentioned about being in the different parts of the world. So, what are the biggest challenges that you think you have faced in your life?
Not knowing the language. I think it's always the same, but some of the things are just like global. If you're kind and open-minded, you can definitely make friends. Doesn't mean you have to know the language. Um, just be curious. So what I've learned, like the challenges is like, I don't know where to find, for example, a doctor. So first of all, again, you can ask ChatGPT, you can go and, like, so think you can ask friends, you can use Instagram as your source of collecting the information about which, like the doctors, you read the reviews, you ask people that you know. So I think everything, if you are open-minded, curious, and friendly, and keep your mind, like open to new, I think everything is doable. It's not that, of course, you will have challenges, that a bit of misunderstanding or miscommunication, but I don't know, if you smile, a pure person will smile you back, and then you will find this. It's even sometimes even more intimate when you don't speak the same language. You got this, like, it's even more supportive and involved, and then you see how people want to help you figure out stuff. So they will be pointing out. The last time I went I was doing some paperwork here in Czech Republic, and I went to Checkpoint, and it's sort of like the administrative center where they verify the documents. And I remember there was like elderly lady, and she of course doesn't speak English. So I was using again ChatGPT. So I said, like, can you please translate that in Czech? And I just read it out, and she's like, yes, yes, I understand. So this is how, again, AI is helping you on a daily basis, but you do have a bit of challenges, but I think it's in everyday life you have it too. But again, it's all about resilience. If you build up that skill, so for you it becomes easier and easier, and you don't see that as a challenge, but just like a new task to do. Okay, I will do it. And then you are done. So I was done in 5-10 minutes, and I was happy. She was happy. There were no fights. No one was complaining that somebody doesn't speak Czech. So it's way easier now to, like to deal with these daily tasks in a new environment. Work-wise as well. For example, when you look for a job in a new country, it is bit can be complicated because first of all, there are different approaches. Like I mean, like hiring more or less the same, but how they, like how they structure the compensation, what it means to work, like full time or as a contract base or like a freelancer, how they approach. So it's like, again, be open and curious and just ask. Sometimes I think people afraid of ask questions, not to look stupid, but it's just ego. So put the ego aside and just ask questions like, I don't know, is it like this or is it like that? And again, that's what I also had when the comes to the salary compensation. You deal with the different currencies. And it's not only about like, oh yeah, this like in euro. So in Czech Republic, they have Czech krona, which is again different currency. And it's not that you just, see the rate on Google and it's like, oh yeah, this is you need to, first of all, know the value of your skills and the value of your talent, but you also have to understand how much money or like this value can deliver you with this environment. So again, during the job interview conversation that you have, don't be scared to ask um, questions like, okay, this is what does it mean? Like you can also calculate yourself, because if you, for example, live in Czech Republic for 6 months and then you look for a job, you already know like, oh yeah, I pay so much money for my rent, like all the expenses, so you can calculate that too. But very often, I think people are afraid, or maybe it was me scared to ask those questions, very detailed one. And later on, I've learned that it's okay, because everything is different and the system is different. And for example, a colleague of mine, he's based in Ireland, and we had this discussion about the different approaches to hiring, like the contracts, for example. In Ireland, they definitely prefer full-time employees, while in Czech Republic, in tech scene, they work a lot with trade license type of a contract. So it's a lot of nuances. If you want to if you have questions, more practical one about like how to get a job in Czech Republic, you can let me know. I will help you out.
That's really great. And any story that you like to share with us from your journey?
What do you mean?
Like
Can you
any
repeat?
story that can be related to your professional or personal life?
Um, the story, like what I said, like first of all, it's very important to have the values. So like it's a lot about I would say, soft skills, because hard skills you can learn. There are so many different courses. You can develop the hard skills, but know your talent and know your value, have values, build up what I said, like resilience. Don't give up if things get tougher. Um, Push forward. And this is what I again saw with the startups as well, that uh, dynamic culture, because it's not easy to build up the business. So it's the same. It's not sometimes that easy to build up your full stack marketeer profile. So keep your mind open, continue learning. And especially I think now, the more you know your talents, and you can always enhance them and improve them. What I said, like put the ego aside. I think now it's not about the job titles, but the value that you deliver to business. And if you focus on the value you deliver to business, you can establish yourself as a well-known expert in the specific field, which match perfectly with your talent, and you have the career growth and the like nice compensation for the value. So it's think not on the, I don't know, I want this title, but think about like, oh yeah, I have this talent. How can I, like monetize on my talent and deliver value to the business?
Correct. And last but not the least, what's your aim right now, or what's your goal?
My goal, I think it's a combination of different mini goals, because I realize personally for myself, it's nice to have career and work in a company, but there are sometimes things that you like to do in your life to feel more satisfied with your life, and it's nothing to do with the job title, with the salary, or like how much money you have on your bank account, but more about the relationship and value you do to the community that you live. So I work a lot with um, junior people in their career path and advise them on how to, like where to focus if they want to grow. I'm also trying to think more about like, okay, how can I share my knowledge to a wider audience? So trying to again organize different like workshops for for example, um marketeers in the startups so they can learn and then they can do like better job but also easier for them, so they don't need to learn, they can just learn from me so to speak. Like I think it correlates with my first education, because my first diploma, I'm a teacher of English and literature, and I think that a skill to share and to teach, to mentor people is always present. So now I'm trying to build that up more.
That's
I
nice.
hope I answered your question in a more in a constructive way.
Yeah, these are really good. I think you will be a good mentor to the new audience, right? Cool. I think thank you so much, Tamara. I think it was really nice to know your journey and your story, and wish you very luck with your life and wish you a lot of success. Thank you so much.
Thank you a lot for inviting and hearing me out. I think every person has their unique story and always interesting experience to share. I hope people who will listen will find this useful and relevant and helpful. And once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.